Okay, guys, so I am going to introduce you to a complete rock star, number 14 in volume in the state of Minnesota last year. Very buyer heavy, 250 transactions last year. And what's most impressive about you, Artemisa Boston, is that you are literally doing like all of it. She has a team that is unlike any team that I've heard of. I think how you've developed it is super, super interesting, but you are touching like every transaction. My team, we do less than you for transactions, but I got a lot of realtors. You don't have additional realtors. So let's hear, I'll ask you some questions and want to introduce you, but I just really appreciate you being on here because there's a lot of buyer's agents who want to be busier. And we want to hear from you. So thank you for being on here.
Thanks for the invitation.
Yes. Okay. Well, we got to know about you first. So tell us about your family. Tell us a little bit about you so people know you.
Okay. So I'm from Mexico City. I came here 24 years ago. I have two kids. I'm married and I have two kids, Alex, 17, Ella, 14, and what else?
And you live on the east side, right?
I live in Afton. I have been a real estate agent for 22 years. Yes.
22 years in this business. So I want to know then from you, okay, a lot of people get burnt out working with buyers, right?
Yes.
Do you still love over 22 years in the volume that you do you still, and 87% of your business. So you had about 218 transactions last year that was buyers, 30-ish that are sellers. So very, very buyer heavy. Do you still love working with buyers?
Yes, I still do, but I know what you mean. When I didn't have enough assistance, I burned myself and I learned in a bad way that I was doing that incorrectly. So I am glad that I can like talk about it with people that they are trying to do it, because I don't want that they have the same experience.
So I love that. And I am going to ask you about your systems, because over time, when you get busier, all of a sudden you've got to start. And like right now is a time like in my business where we're starting some additional systems and reevaluating stuff and tweaking stuff, right? But along the way, you've been doing this for 22 years. This isn't overnight, guys, but all of a sudden you set up different systems to help you sell more. Otherwise, guys, as a buyer's agent, you just get burnt out and people leave the business. So I'm going to ask you questions around that. Can I start with your lead generation? Like, how are you, who are your clients? How are you getting them? Are they, tell us about that.
80% referrals, and the other 20%, they are like, I have ads in TV, radio station, the Hispanic radio station, and ads in Facebook, Instagram, and I put business cards in stores because you need to never like leave. You need to keep doing the basics. Okay, that is the thing. Is no, like some people, they don't have access to Facebook or Instagram, or they just don't want to do that. So I do once in a while newspaper too.
Okay, you do some of that. I love that you said back to the basics and that you're putting cards. I used to do that everywhere I went in a coffee shop. I put it on their corkboard. I had a little thing already with things, and I would do that. And I haven't done that for a long time. I love that after 22 years that you're still doing that.
Yes, I do. I have a service, but when I go to a store myself, I do it myself. And that works. Like you can find clients that way too. And obviously, like your database, no? You need to like send Christmas cards, Mother's Day cards, birthday cards. Yeah, try to
Okay,
like.
so let me ask you about that. When you said, what percentage did you say is referral?
80%.
80% referrals. Okay, that's huge. So let's talk about that then. So you have a whole, I know you're not probably because you're super busy sending birthday cards and all the things. So tell us about how you're keeping in touch and the cards, and what is your system to reach those people that you've worked with before, because they're sending you a lot of referrals.
Yes, I have a system that I think it doesn't exist anymore, but people that we were using that, they keep we can like keep using that. It's called High Rise. So it is like a normal database that send you reminders for birthdays, or to call once in a while to clients just to be sure that they don't need anything. And I always tell my assistants that when we are not busy, try to spend time in the phone with people, listen people. Like they want to talk about like plants or dogs or whatever. Take the time to do it. And after that, when they have a good conversation with you, because you are relaxed and you are prepared, they send you clients.
Totally, 100%. So the system you were talking about, is that a CRM that you have that
Correct.
reminds? It is?
Yes.
And who's sending out birthday cards and things like that? Like, I can't imagine you have time to do that.
No, I have 6 assistants. So 2 of them, they are in charge of doing that.
Okay. So let's talk about your team in a second and how you do that. But as far as the referral, you send out birthday cards. Is there anything else? Are you like closing gifts? We do year anniversary gifts. Is there anything additionally that you're doing to get that referral business?
No, but I think I should. Okay, I think I got busy and I didn't do that, but I think like people like it.
Well, but also you're really good at what you do. So people trust you and then they say your name. So yeah, but I hear you. We could all be doing more, but obviously what you're doing is working really, really well. Okay, so that's referrals. I'm assuming then you also get a lot of repeat business.
Yes, I do. And I think like I don't give a gift to my clients after closing, but I always answer the phone with all the questions. I always with every single one of Hispanics, they are asking me about attorneys, the plumber, the daughters, the school for the daughters, and I always available. It doesn't matter what it is, I always there.
Well, and I think that's amazing. And I try to do that too. Like, what contractor do you need? You need a divorce attorney? Do you need, like, what do you need? Like, what do you, right? Or like house stuff and contractors. So people know they can contact you with things outside of real estate too.
Correct.
Yeah. Tell us about, I didn't realize, tell us about social media and what you're doing, because you do have, you do get obviously newer people. What are you doing that's working for you on social media?
I have someone that works in my social media, and she's posting every day something. And I do too when I have like something to post. Like lately, it's a little bit more difficult for me because Facebook has like Meta. Is Meta? The new system that they have, or the new company that is managing Facebook. Okay, so I think it's META, Meta.
Meta or something.
So
Yeah. Okay.
they don't allow us to advertise in Spanish. So you need to advertise like for all languages. And it's so difficult because some Americans, they are like, why I receive this? And I cannot control that. So once in a while, I have someone that is not happy, but it is what it is. I don't know what they are making so difficult.
Yeah, no, I know, but obviously I struggle with that too, because 7 years ago when I ran ads, I would target 7 zip codes, and I built my business like doing that. And now you can't target age and all the things, right? Like, I get it, but it does make it harder because all of a sudden you have a 15-mile radius of places, right? It does make it harder. So yeah, I mean, I think we all struggle with that. So let's talk about the mediums you use. So Facebook, Instagram, what do you use, and what are you making sure, like your social media person, what are they posting on?
They are posting the new listings, or they are posting new programs. Every time that someone says something about a program, I advertise the program or the pictures of the houses that people buy, or use like something cute. But the most like views that I have is when I post something with my family. For some reason,
Yeah.
it's like they don't care. They put me like 5-10 likes every day. But when I post something with my husband or my kids or my dog, I have like 200-300. Or Yeah.
100%. We talk about all the, and I've had to learn that through the younger people on the team. Like I always want to do business, because that's more me. But the stuff that gets shown is personal. People want to know about you. And that's where you get all the likes. I know.
Yeah. So some people, like they say that in TV, like somebody told me, maybe it was only her. She was like, you look like a different person. But when I like saw your interview, I was so happy because in the beginning, when I saw you in TV, I was thinking that I don't like you.
Because people want to know the real, like the real, the raw, not the perfected. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So are you doing any videos? Are you doing more things like that are not as professional? Like how are you incorporating that?
Yes, when I have a new program or I have like a couple hours during the week, I try to think about like what kind of video with new information, and people loves that kind of videos with new programs or how is the market doing. They just like it a lot.
When you say new program, do you mean like a new, what do you mean? Like, are those like new lender programs or what are you talking about?
Yes, it's like you guys don't have that too much, okay, because it is the same, no? It's always the FHA or the conventional, but we have like other programs for Hispanics. So when I have like a new program that they say, okay, so now this is going to be a little bit more interest, but we need only 1 year of taxes instead of 2. So I advertise that kind of stuff because like people that they don't have 2 years with the tax returns. And this is usual for Hispanics. It's not like they don't live here. So sometimes they have only 1 year of being self-employees or only 1 year doing the taxes, the tax returns.
But delivering the real messages right now, and you're doing that with video. Okay, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, let's hear about your team. So I think this is so interesting about Artemisa. We just were cheersing like 2 weeks ago, right? And we have somewhat of a similar volume. However, how you run things is so different than me. And I love it because we have 10 agents. You're the agent. So let's hear about what will you tell us? And by the way, I always understand, like, share what you want to, don't share what you don't want to, but what can you tell us about how you run a team? Because you have many assistants, you have a driver, you have a social media person. Tell us about that team that you have.
Okay, so I have 6 assistants and 10 showing agents. I create this new model because I want to be in charge of all my clients. I want to like talk to all my clients. I want to be in contact with all of them. And in the beginning was so difficult because I was thinking if I don't show the houses, they are not going to like work with me. But you know what? That depends the way that you sell the product. If you sit down with them and tell them, hey, I'm not going to make all my commission because I need to pay per hour showing agents, but this is because I want to be sure that you look at the house as soon as possible. Okay, but I always hear, if you like the house and you have questions, you want to make an offer or you need an advice, you can call me right away. So I make them like, I tell them that I'm doing this because of them.
So you set that expectation, you set it up front so they know that there's going to be a showing assistant. So tell me about those showing assistants. Do you show any houses?
Yes, it doesn't
you
matter.
do?
No, my assistants, my showing assistants. Sorry.
Showing assistants 100% show the houses. Artemisa does not show any houses. And she works, again, how many, you had over 300 transactions, I believe, last year. So, okay, so those showing assistants, would you mind talking about how, is it always the same one with the same buyer? Do you try to keep 2 so they're seeing the same people? And how do you pay them? What is that structure like?
I pay them per hour since they leave their house. If it's only one showing, I pay the time that they leave the house, they go to the showing and they come back to their house. But if they have like connected showings, I pay the entire thing, 3, 4, 5 hours. So I pay them per hour and they are like happy because some agents, they wanna like do real estate, but you need to have some income and you need to have experience. So this is like a good team because you are practicing with my clients and I am paying you.
100%, 100%. And they're getting market knowledge. They're in it. No, 100%. But that is so interesting. Okay. So you pay them by hour. They're all licensed realtors. They have to be, right? They have to be to open doors. Are they sharing any, I've had this happen before where it's problematic. When I used to do this, I'm like, you cannot, no, I can't have you talking about the purchase agreement or giving any advice on that. So how do you prep them? Are they only there to open doors? What is their responsibility as far as that go when they get questions about writing an offer or anything like that?
They need to tell them that they need to call me. So they cannot exchange phone numbers. And it's not because I am afraid that someone is going to steal a client. I don't care about it. It's because sometimes the clients, if they have too many phone numbers, they start trying to schedule showings with someone that doesn't check the phone. So I say, no. You cannot have, every time that you want to make a showing, you need to send a text to my cell phone. So my cell phone is connected to the cell phone of one of my assistants. His job is only schedule all the appointments for all the clients. So when I receive a text, because we use the same cloud, he receives all those text messages. So we use only one phone number for everything.
Got it. And then there's duplicated cell phones. Okay,
Yes.
got it. All right. So all these showing assistants, how do you have the same, you said you have 10. So do you filter through them? I'm assuming these are agents that are not quite as busy to do things on their own, but they want more, they want more market knowledge. They're out there. They want to be busier. So why not pick things up? Do you always have the same people or do you filter through them, or how do you find them and how does that work?
Okay, some people, they stay. I have agents that they have been with me for 5 or 6 years. But some agents, they come and they get busier and now they leave, or they stay with me, but not as a showing agent.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Mhm.
Tell me more about the other people on the team. Do you have a transaction coordinator? When you say you have 6 assistants, what are those people doing? I'm assuming one of those is a TC.
Yes, one of Gladys is always preparing the files. Susie check my email the entire day. So people, they think that I am answering the emails, but I don't see my email. She just forward to me what is important. So I have a folder and I just check the folder. Gustavo, he schedule all the appointments for the showings. Maria, she drives for me and she also do office stuff. And also they are in every single office. I have 3 offices, so I have one assistant in every office. So in that way, they are working there, and the door of the office is always open, just in case they wanna draw papers, or they wanna they have questions about the process of buying a house. Because if you have an office in a main street but it's not open, that is not good. So yeah.
Has it been important to you to have 3 offices? So you have 3 physical offices.
Yes.
Okay,
It's important. When the market start declining, not too long ago, I have the option to open or not open the office in Central Avenue. But I was afraid to sign the contract, but I did it anyways, because I was I need to have this office because some of the agents are going to disappear. So I want to be right there in an street like that. And I'm sure that even with if I have only one client there, now I have sometimes 10 appointments there, no? But I was thinking, if I have only one client, I'm going to be fine to pay the rent and the assistant and everything.
Right. I just think it's so interesting. She has 10 showing agents, 6 assistants, and a driver. And I remember when you said you have a driver, I'm like, you have a driver? But to do the volume that you are doing, you would have to. You're working in the car, you're doing other things. I met you a couple weeks ago and we cheers at Restoration Hardware, and that was so fun. But after that, you had 7 to 8 appointments. I was like, what? That is, so you are meeting, and you're handing, and your system just must be just really crisp and amazing. Okay, can I ask you this? Are most of your people employees, or are they independent contractors?
The showing agents are independent contractors, and my assistants, they are W-2 employees.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you for that. Any other systems, CRM best practices, or any other systems that you could share that really work for you?
Yeah, someone asked a question about how we schedule the showings. So the agents, they like put the information in something, it's called Trello. So they put the schedules that they are going to be available. So Gustavo check Trello and schedule the showings with the agents that are going to be available.
On Trello,
Yeah, on
Trello, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Marketing. Can I ask you about marketing? Do you do any, you said you do newspaper and some stuff like that. Do you do any like email marketing campaigns? What marketing do you do that is effective?
Everything is affected, but you need to like, don't try it only 1 month. Even the flyers, if you go and put flyers somewhere, or you walk during the summer, like the same 10 streets every like week with the same flyer, the same color, eventually someone is going to call you. The thing is like, sometimes when you don't try it, when you try one time and it doesn't work, you don't want to do it again, but you need to keep doing that, and it's going to work.
I totally believe that. And I can relate to you, because when I was new in this business, and also you said the other a little bit ago that you need to go back to the basics and continue to do that stuff, right? Like yes. I'm all about directional signs. I have them all over. And when I had one house in the beginning, I had just as many signs as I do now, but it's really important to me that I continue those directional signs, because people would say in the beginning when I didn't have a lot, they're like, oh my gosh, you're everywhere. Your signs are everywhere. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I have one house. Now we have 15, whatever on the market, and we have signs still. But I think it's interesting, Artemisa, that you just have to keep consistently doing the same thing. You don't know always if it's working, but if you're going to own it and do it, you got to be consistent over time and do it.
Yes, and you just like, instead of like changing something, you just add it. If it's something new, you just add it. And sometimes it doesn't mean that it's a lot of money. Facebook and Instagram is free. Like sometimes you need to pay to like do stuff, but you can like put your ad in all the markets, in Facebook, the marketplace or whatever, and try to do that. Everything is free. But if you put one ad and nobody cares and you don't receive a like, and eventually if you do it every day or every 3 days or every week, something important about the market. This week, the market is like this and this and this. Come on, sellers, let's like put the houses for sale. The market, whatever, no, you say. But if you every week you do the same, you are going to get clients, and that is free.
Totally. There's social media. There's so much free. Obviously, you're paying someone for social media. I now have someone after 7 years helping me with social media too, but it is a free platform. It's your time. Show up and do it consistently. I love that message. Are you buying any leads? Do you do any Zillow leads? Are you buying anything?
No, at all. I have never, I don't plan, because I can get clients in another way.
Got you. Do you ever do buyer seminars or anything like that in person or online?
No, I am a disaster. I tried to like teach a class, and I was so nervous that my assistant may say, please promise me that you are never going to do it again. You were so bad.
That is so funny. And I've had to get more comfortable doing these training things. I'm tragic. I just had to do an interview the other day, recorded for Twin City Real Producer and with other people. And it was just tragic. It was so bad. I don't know why I was so nervous, whatever. But I know a lot of us realtors, I like one-on-one. You're probably more of a one-on-one, but anyways, yeah, I can relate to that. I think that's really funny because you're very, very good. But stay in your lane and do what you're good at,
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do you ever do any events? Do you do client appreciation parties? Do you do anything like that?
I have done in the past, and has been okay, but I don't know. every year I think about it, but I prefer to do something like, if it's going to be Halloween, I advertise in radio. Hey, you can stop in my office and I'm going to give you a basket with candies or stuff like that. So I
Okay,
have
and then they come to you.
new clients and old clients, okay? Or for like January 6th, that we eat like a special bread, no? It's like a big bread and it's only in January 6th. So I say, hey, I'm going to have like 50 of this. You just need to stop and say hello.
And do people come in and do that?
Yes.
Okay, that's like a lot of people. I mean, you don't do this, but there's a lot of realtors that do pies. I always say I'm not doing pies because everyone's doing pies, but there are things that work where people pick them up. Okay, so that's interesting. And you have those 3 locations to do that. Okay, can you tell me then, when you get a lot of referrals and a lot of repeat business, but let's say it's somebody new that you haven't worked with, so it's a referral or whatever. How is that process of working with the buyer? How does that work for you? Like, do you meet with them in person at an office first and go through the purchase agreement and talk to them about the process, or how do you do that?
So the first thing that I do is I take a little application with all the information so I know what kind of loan they need to have, okay? So after that, I tell them that the first thing that we are going to do is I'm going to send your papers to a loan officer, and if you don't like the loan officer, we can look for another one. So I send the application, the taxes, the pay stubs, bank statements, so in that way, all the file goes prepared, so we don't waste any time. I'm not going to like tell the loan officer to do that because it's going to take double time, and if they are meeting with me, they can bring the papers, no? So they sign the authorizations to check the credit and the authorization to allow me to talk to the loan officer about the loan. And I send everything to the loan officer. So the loan officer received the authorizations and the little application with the jobs and the history of everything. And also I explain, okay, so when the loan officer have an answer, we are going to tell you for how much money you can qualify for, how much is the interest rate, how much is the monthly payment, how much do you need to have at closing, and the kind of program that you have. And I'm going to give you a little information about it. And after that, you are going to have an appointment with the loan officer. But in that way, everything is faster. Instead of like, I don't like that to send just the lead. And if the loan officer doesn't have time to like have the papers, the approval takes forever, okay, to have.
So you initiate a lot with that lender. When you have that, when you have them fill out that, is that online or do you meet with them in person?
In person. It's like the first like contact that I have is I sell myself and I smile and I explain the process and I'm going to take some information. So I have a little application. Did you bring your papers? This is what we're going to do. You can choose a loan officer, but based on what you told me, I think you should use this person, but if you don't like it, we can switch to another one. So I do that in the first appointment, so I don't waste any time. Maybe it's different with Americans, no? Because you guys, usually you are pre-approved when you come to the real estate agent. In my case, nobody is pre-approved.
Interesting. I would say in my cases, a lot of people are, but they might not be working with a great lender or, like they just, yeah. So some of that directing we are doing, but you definitely have to do a lot of that. When you meet with them, then when do you have them send buyer paperwork? How does that work? Will you show anyone a home if you don't have a buyer paperwork?
No, they need to be pre-approved and they need to bring all their papers in the first appointment.
But even signing on with you that you are their agent, the buyer paperwork, not the lending stuff.
To be honest, I never sign contracts until I do the first offer. I don't want to be in a contract with someone because sometimes I don't like the client. If I see that a client is going to be a nightmare, I don't have a contract with you. So you need to look for another.
Gotta go.
Yes,
okay,
because
that's interesting.
Otherwise, I am cranky, and my other 100 clients, they are like, I am being bad because I have a bad client.
Okay, so how do you say that to somebody? If you don't want to work with a buyer, how do you get rid of them?
You just say like that, we are not a good match. Like,
we are not a good match. You got to go.
It's not you, it's me.
See, it's not you, it's me. Like you just say it so much better. I'm like, you're tragic. You got to go. It's like, but how you say it is so much nicer. Yeah. Okay. I got to practice that. Okay.
Yes,
That's
I
awesome.
see. Yeah, and I try to sometimes refer them with another agent that is more, if it's like a client that is super needy and I'm going to be so stressed out and whatever. So I say, okay, I'm going to refer you with one of my agents. So I pick the one that doesn't have any clients, no? So all the attention is like the first baby, no? All the attention and everything is, they are going to love each other. They are like, good.
Totally. Totally. I love that. Okay. Can I ask you, I'm going to end asking you some things. Gosh, I was going to ask you something else that came to me. Oh, I'm going to ask you this. Okay. With the volume that you've done, so 250 units last year, guys, she's touching everything. She has a system, 218 buyers. So 87% of your business is buyers. And you like that. You like that. You do some listings, but you like working with buyers.
Yeah.
Last year was a really, really hard year because it was so competitive. Rates were low until, rates dipped. For you to do this much business and win all this is so impressive in a very hard market where I'm assuming is most of your business is around what price point?
It's like under probably like 400
So
and 300.
most of your business is 400 and under, which is the most competitive. And you won last year 218 times for your buyers. So
Yes.
You must be very strategic in how you're writing purchase agreements and guiding your buyers. Is there anything that you can talk about on that? Because in a very, very hard year of everyone losing many, many, many times, how are you guiding them? How are you getting that done?
I want to be honest. My clients, they are not the people with more money. Okay. Like we are using like a lot of FHA loans that, by the way, people is asking me how you can close 100 FHA loans. Okay, I do. And it's because, yes, I try to advise them the way to do the offers, to make the offers, but some of them, they don't have the money to do it. But the good thing is everyone knows me, and I have been in the market for 22 years. And sometimes even that I'm not the best offer, they take my offer because they know that it's going to close, that I'm going to be easy to work with. I'm not going to be the difficult agent, okay? That if I need to pay $500 to fix something, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to close the deal. So sometimes even that is not the best offer, you want to work with a good agent that is easy to work with.
I think it's huge. On the listing side, doing listings, I know the people that get things done that are not a pain in the ASS to work with, that get their process, their TC. So the fact that you are doing that much because you have such a good reputation and people want to work with you and they'll take a lower offer to work with you is huge. So obviously you are doing something right. Kudos to you. I'm going to ask you a few more questions and then we'll let you go sell some houses. Okay, tips, advice for someone who's new in this business, what would you say?
Just be disciplined, and you need to like do every day like something to contribute to your business, and you need to like do something and add every time that you can add a new thing. But you really need to like work hard. So this is not like a magic thing. You need to work hard. It doesn't matter who you are. If you don't work hard, like every time that you are like in front of the TV 2 hours, okay, seriously, what are you doing? Okay, so you need to like watch TV and be posting or doing something. This is the kind of job that we have. We can be working in our bed for 10 hours, but if you are watching TV just like without doing anything for 2 hours, it's something wrong. This is
we laugh. I love that. And we laugh as a team because it's like, even Sarah, like every once in a while, someone will watch a Netflix series, but we know when we watch something that we're like social media, that we're like multitasking, do a million things. But I think that's because some of us have, like me, have ADHD and I like to do multiple things, but that just makes me laugh. But a lot of people do ask in this business of what the secret sauce is and what you're doing that's different. And it just truly is hustling and working hard and staying in it and repeating the same things over and over. And I love what you said in the beginning too, like go back to the basics. Like those are the things. Like keep doing that and keep showing up. So I love that. What about, I'm going to ask you last two more questions to women in this business. What would you, any advice to women in this business? Because there's a lot of people that look up to you and think, holy cow. So what would you say to women in this business?
So be careful with the balance, okay? So you don't wanna like be working, and when you look at the pictures, you don't remember that you were there, okay? Because I was one of those, one person like that, and I changed it. It's just like balance. Women, we need love, we need to feel good, we need to have a warehouse with flowers. You can be in the phone, but at the same time, put something, it's going to be Valentine's. We are in charge of that. Like have like a soup when they are going to come back from the school. Try to do something. It's just like balance. Work every day really hard, but at the same time, be careful with the relationships because it's really important.
I can relate to that so much because for 2 years, all I did was work and I let everything else kind of fall. I felt like, so did that ever happen to you?
Yes, I have that really bad a few years ago. I was like having panic attacks and I decided that I'm never, ever going to come back to that place because that is like a sad place. I was like #1 agent in US, Latino agents, #1 agent in Minnesota by transactions, but I didn't have a balance. So, and I'm never, I promise you, never going to come back there. So I don't want that you do that. When you feel that you are burning and you are not enjoying this, it's because you are doing too much. You need an assistant. You need to associate with another woman. What about if I'm working in the mornings and you work in the afternoons? Let's like do a team. I don't know. If I
And when you get to that point, you develop a system, you hire more people. So you're able to be and you know, and spend time with your family.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that.
And they are used to spend time with me, no? Spend time with me is like, they are teenagers, so everyone is in the phone. But once in a while, we laugh about something. No, that is the new thing. I am a different kind of mom, but I feel my kids with me, close to me. And for a few years, for a couple of years, I didn't feel it.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're young. And we talked about this the other day. Like I have one in college now and one that's going next year. And I could literally cry because I'm like, oh my God, where'd the time go? So we only get that. But I think it's brilliant for you because I remember the one year I think I sold 32 million that year. And then the next year I sold 42.5. That 32 million, I was so burnt out. And I said, I will make less money, but I'm going to show up for me more in my life. And I'm going to do yoga. And I made a commitment. And then I got some systems in place and I sold 10 million more. So
Yes.
I just thought, you know, there's ways to set things up, you know, and you just have to recognize that because otherwise you get out of the business. I mean, this is probably something I shouldn't say right now, but we were talking as a team the other day. I mean, there's people that we are hearing about that are like addicts to drugs and whatever that are like successful realtors. And we're like, I don't know, we just don't spend time knowing and whatever, but I was kind of shocked of hearing of that because I'm like, you know, it is hard. I love my wine at the end of the day. I do it all day long, but you have to be careful because otherwise you get so burnt out, right? Like this is I work 24/7, but you have to find that. So thank you for being real on that. Thank you. Thank you. So,
and one thing is, yes, you need to work hard, but you need to work intelligent too. If you think that you can do everything, you are wrong. Someone is more talented than you to do that. So hire to your son to do the social media for the couple hours. He's going to be better than you.
oh yeah, I agree with you, but Allie's cringing right now. You would never want Zach Brown to do my social media, right? I can't even imagine Artemisa if I had my boy, but I agree. Like you have to, she says it would be tragic. Yeah, but you have to find systems. And one of the things I'll end in a sec, but one of the things I learned in the last year with some of my business partners is you have to figure out like how much you're making per hour and hire out. So if you're someone who's making 500 an hour, like if you figure out how many hours a week you work and how much you made in a year and figure out how much you make an hour, anything under that you need to hire out for. And I know you do a good job of that. Sometimes I even feel guilty having my house cleaned. It's weird, but I didn't grow up like that. So I still feel guilty, but I have to remember my hourly rate and hire under that. And when you start selling a lot more and when you start getting busier, so you have time in your life, I think it's really important to do that.
Correct.
Well, thank you for showing up. Thank you so much for being on here. You're such a rock star.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Everyone's saying thank you, thank you. Such a good message. Taya says goals. Teodora just sold 32 million last year. She is like kicking butt, and you are such an inspiration to people. So thank you for showing up. We'll talk to you later, okay?
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.